My name is Angelica Espinosa, and I will be going over divorce as a social problem. The definition of a social problem is a social condition that a segment of society views as harmful to members of society and is in need of remedy. So if we break this definition down into an equation, the societal condition is divorce. Society views this as harmful because it affects many families, and it's in need of remedy because there's a really high divorce rate. So putting all those three factors into an equation equals a social problem. Divorce, again, affects many people, and Coltrane and Adams in 2003, they found that on average 2.4 million couples are getting married in America, and 2.2 million couples are also getting a divorce, and this is a yearly rate. So it's kind of like half of the people that are getting married are also getting a divorce. So we also created this definition of a refined divorce rate, which is the number of divorces per 1,000 married women. And this is created because the divorce rate more than doubled between 1960 and 1980. However, it has declined and stabilized since the early 1980s. But even if it has stabilized, we can see that almost half of the people that are getting married are also getting a divorce. So the divorce rate is still really high. And this affects many mothers and fathers and children. And even if the couple didn't have children, this affects both people. So any family member that was involved in the marriage is going to be affected. In a 1996 study from Buckle, Gallup, and Rod that was investigating patterns of marriage, divorce, and remarriage, they found that of their female participants, 28% of them were divorced, and of the male participants, 20% of them were also divorced. So even though this number doesn't look too high, this is of all the people that are married and remarried as well. In a chart from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. This is a 2016 chart, and we can see that the rate per 1,000 total population in the year 2016 is 3.2. So even though some of the states were excluded, that's still a pretty high rate. And if we look at the marriage rate per 1,000 total population, it's 6.9. So the rate from marriage to divorce is about half again from in the year 2016, according to the CDC. Some of the causes and contributing factors for divorce are changing in functions of marriage. So in earlier times, we were focusing our marriage in producing, socializing, and educating children. However, recently we have switched that focus to meeting psychological needs. And another cause or contributing factor is the increased economic autonomy of women. So in earlier times, again, our wives were staying at home. They were taking care of the children and the home environment. However, now we have employed wives. So now more women are working. Also, there has been an increase in work demands and economic stress. So this has created a stress between having to balance work and the family. So this is another cause for divorce. Another cause is the inequality in marital division of labor. This is known as the second shift, and this is where working moms will work their first shift at their regular day job, and they will come home to work their second shift, taking care of the children and taking care of the home and cooking and cleaning and all that sorts of stuff. Also, according to this figure that was obtained from a 1996 study that focused on the patterns of marriage, divorce, and remarriage that viewed marriage as a reproductive contract, they found that the main reason that wives were giving for why they divorced was the cruelty or behavior problems of their spouses, and males were most likely to give the reason as being adultery, and that's why they decided to get a divorce. More causes and contributing factors include that now divorce laws are legitimizing mental cruelty as well as emotional incompatibility as a good reason for a divorce, according to Foldberg and Cohen in a 1976 research study that they made. Also, we are now considering a good reason to be a no-fault divorce, and this is when we accept that irreconcilable differences are a legitimate reason for getting a divorce. Another cause or contributing factors is that we are now experiencing an increase in individualism, and this means that we are thinking about ourselves, wanting to be happy because it is our right, even if it means getting divorced. Also, another cause is that we are now having weak social ties. So we are lacking the network of family and friends. And these people are the ones who are providing support for us and the ones who are expressing their disapproval for certain behaviors that might threaten the stability of a marriage. And the last cause and contributing factor for divorce is the longer life expectancy. So as humans are expected to live longer, we are also expected to be committed longer in a marriage. Some of the consequences for divorce include lower levels of psychological well-being. And also, taking that a step further, females had experienced significant increases in depressive mood, anxiety, and physical symptoms, as well as a significant decrease in self-esteem. And this was according to a 1989 study that was by Mechanic and Hansel. Another consequence for divorce is a higher risk for a variety of emotional and behavioral problems in children and young adults. And the last consequence that I came up with for divorce is according to a 2016 study by Gutzwin, Naya, and Wu. They found that 35% of teenagers from the ages of 12 to 18 were engaging in binge drinking, as well as 31% of teenage females. And compared to teenagers and married couples, this was roughly 10 to 11% more. So we can clearly see that binge drinking in teenagers has increased because of divorce. There's a lot of people who might benefit from a divorce, but 3 people who benefit might be a domestic violence survivor. So, according to Mooney, Knox, and Schatt, 21% of all violent crimes in the United States are accounted for domestic violence. So, that's a pretty big percent. Also, Foldberg and Cohen, in a 1976 study, found that men will benefit from a divorce if they are unsatisfied with the exchange of emotional gratification from their spouses because of their money essential contributions. So in this scenario, men are still considered the ones who are bringing home the money, and when their wives are not giving them that emotional gratification, then the men are going to seek divorce and they're going to benefit from this divorce. Also, women will benefit from a divorce if they have lost emotional ties to their husband, or if their husband is not providing financial security for her or for her children. There's a lot of people that can influence the choice of divorce, and the community has really good programs that will speak out for divorce. So they will speak about how divorce might affect somebody, or how we can create more lasting and healthy relationships. For example, there's a program known as the Relationship Literacy Education, and this is a program that is offered before a divorce, and this targets mostly the youth and young adults and couples. It doesn't matter if they're cohabitating, engaged, or already married, and this program is teaching them many skills that will help them, as well as values for a healthy relationship. So when they learn these skills and values, they're learning how to maintain a healthy relationship and how a healthy relationship looks like. Also, there is a program, a community-based program known as the Divorce Education Program. And this program is offered while a couple is going through a divorce as well as after a divorce. And this program helps reduce any parental conflict that the family is experiencing, as well as any problems with parents cooperating. Also, this program helps resolve property division issues in the family, as well as it helps with child support or spousal support. Also, who should do something? We should all be actively trying to encourage our family and friends and even people we don't know to engage in healthy relationships, and having these healthy relationships will help them have longer marriages. So it'll help us lower our divorce rates. So at an institutional level, all people should be encouraged, and it should be mandatory for counseling before any marriage and before any divorce. There are some programs that are similar to this, and that's the covenant marriage. However, the covenant marriage only requires counseling it's the only type of marriage that will require some type of counseling, but this is only applicable in some states, so it doesn't apply to all states. And not many people are looking to have a covenant marriage, because when people are getting married, they don't really think that they're going to get a divorce. However, this is one of the only types of marriages that will make the couples get some sort of counseling before a divorce. Also, there's a lot of religions that when they offer marriage ceremonies, they require some sort of counseling before they're getting married. So in order to help reduce the rate of divorce, we should make this mandatory for all couples, regardless of their state or regardless of their religious affiliations. Also, at a business level, we should be making divorce more expensive. According to the fee schedule of the Superior Court of California, this was the 2016 fee schedule, the San Bernardino County charges an average of $435 to get a divorce. So if we want to lower the rate of divorce, $435 is not very hard to come up with to get a divorce. So by making it more expensive, we might encourage couples to find other ways, such as the community-based programs, to help them stay in their marriage as long as they're having that healthy relationship. Also, on a societal level, we should be reconsidering our gender roles. As I explained earlier, some of the consequences and contributing factors for a divorce are having issues such as the second shift for working moms, as well as the issues with dividing the work at home. So we should be reconsidering that females are not the only ones that should be taking care of the kids and cooking and cleaning, and males should not be the only ones having to work. At an individual level, we should all make an effort to get to know ourselves as well as get to know our potential spouses before getting married.